Listen, you guys, it has become increasingly more difficult to find positive aspects about life, about the world in general, about how you feel about yourself, obviously depending on your personal circumstances. But, with social media, with AI, with global events, with the news and everything like that, it's understandable that a lot of people are struggling with self-esteem, self-image, self-worth. While we're dealing with everything happening globally, we're also constantly sold bazillion different insecurities that we need to be caring about, especially as women. And I want to talk about how people just casually embrace self-hatred and how I see a lot of people like casually displaying self-hatred. I want to talk about how damaging that is and how you should stop hating yourself. You should really, really stop hating yourself. Kind of like, partially for sure as a form of self-resistance towards global crisis, but at the same time, there's a lot of different reasons why you should do that. It's not cute. You're not benefiting from it in any way. Honestly, nobody is benefiting from you hating yourself besides people who want to take advantage of you. So let's talk about this a little bit more and a little bit more in detail. Let's get started. I feel like a lot of people who genuinely hate themselves and who have a lot of insecurities deep down believe that somebody will come and save them, that somebody will appear out of nowhere and will have pure positive intentions and will save them. That is not going to happen, especially if you are genuinely hating yourself and you are not doing anything to change that. If you're not working towards any kind of self-improvement, you are only digging yourself deeper into the situation. And unfortunately, that kind of behavior is not attracting the people who are going to positively influence you a lot of the times. Like, yeah. Let's talk about what happens when you hate yourself and don't treat yourself right. And I'm going to say hate yourself because I don't really want to sugarcoat the situation. When you are treating yourself really poorly, when you are getting stuck in a situation that is not benefiting you, and you're well aware of that, you are displaying self-hatred. There's no way around that. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to be particularly nice about this because I think that a lot of people need rude awakening in order to save themselves, in order to get out of harmful, dangerous situations. That's not cute. Like I said, that is in fact very, very dangerous, and it can be contagious to other people as well. So what happens when you actually hate yourself? I'm going to tell you what happens. You attract people who have bad intentions. That's what happens in short. A lot of people who will get attracted to you will be the people who will want to manipulate you some kind of way, people who are abusive in some kind of way, people who sense that you are going to be malleable and are going to be easy prey, because that's what you are. And that is, that can be really mild, ranging from people who will just casually mistreat you, not be very nice to you, forget about you, treat you poorly, right? To people who might actually do serious harm to you. So it's time to overthink some decisions. Maybe knowing that will push you towards making some changes about that, Another thing that happens is that you become very easily influenced and manipulated. And that honestly goes for anything. You become very, very easy prey for companies as well, not just for the people. But it's increasingly easy to sell you more insecurities and sell you more products, sell you more cosmetic procedures, sell you more clothes, sell you more products, tools, all different kinds of things, different courses and such, because you are going to blindly buy anything that will sell you the dream of making your life better, okay? And getting you to the standard that society is currently operating at and is accepting people at, right? It's, I do understand. You become, honestly, a perfect customer for people who want to extract a lot of money from you. Yes, and you will probably buy all of that stuff. You will probably do those procedures if you can afford them. You will do plastic surgeries. You will amend yourself in each and every way. You will put yourself in danger in order to improve something that can only be improved through doing inner work. basically. When it comes to people as well, when it comes to people that you will attract with such attitudes towards yourself, it's not only going to be predators that you attract, but it will also be people who are just like you, hating themselves. And that is probably not the environment you want to be stuck in, and not the friend group you want to form, because it is going to be so much harder to get out of the rut, to get out of the problems that you have and the situation that you have, the self-hatred and the darkness and all of that stuff, when you are surrounded by people who are just like that. People who do not support each other, maybe people who don't encourage each other, people who are just as self-hateful as you are and just as stuck. Okay, you will be finding different coping mechanisms in order to not improve yourself, because it's going to become more and more normalized and more comfortable to stay exactly where you are and feeling exactly how you feel. Because doing hard work, doing inner work is hard. You know, it is difficult. It requires a lot of effort. It requires time. It requires discipline a lot of the times. It requires self-love and attention towards yourself, right? This is not always easy. Sometimes it's really difficult, and like emotionally mostly, but still. People who you might be attracting with your behaviors and your attitudes, right? With your energy, might keep you stuck even further. On the other note, you know, people who hate themselves a lot of the times display such behaviors as like jealousy. So if you do decide at some point that you want to improve yourself, you want to get out of the situation, you might attract a lot of jealousy and a lot of hatred from the people you considered your friends, because they are in exactly that situation, and it might be really difficult. It will actually make it much harder for you to get out of the situation, because you might feel a lot of guilt for abandoning those people, abandoning the people who were there for you, or were there for you in whichever way, in the same situation as you. So pay very close attention to your circle, okay? Pay very close attention to how you feel around the people that you allow close to yourself. So look at different dynamics that play out around you, and how people behave, how people talk about their problems, how people support you or not support you when you're trying to make healthy, positive decisions for yourself. That's going to be very indicative of the circle that you have formed. Another thing that happens when you hate yourself is that you shield yourself from opportunities. You quite literally shield yourself from positive opportunities, and you self-sabotage, honestly, a lot of the times that happens. And listen, I'll make a whole other video about victim mentality, because I've been genuinely thinking about this topic for a really long time, for many months. I haven't sat down properly to actually, take notes and do some research about this, but I'm going to do this, I promise. So I think it's a really big, important topic to talk about. And there's going to be like no shame and no blame, anything like that, because it's really difficult if you are in a situation like this, and it requires serious effort to get out. So I do believe that a lot of people who hate themselves a lot of the times also play the victim card a lot. They really are stuck in victim mentality, and they see themselves as victims. There's lots of benefits to feeling that way and to acting that way. You can watch one of my previous videos about, insecurities, personality, where I talk about this in more detail. But basically that's the gist. Like, you get a lot out of feeling like a victim, like feeling like you are not good enough, like you're unworthy. You get a lot of pity from other people. You expect people to forgive you easily and to not show up for people in any positive, good ways, because you are stuck in your ways and you are like, everybody should be pitying you, basically. Anyways, you do end up shielding yourself from positive opportunities and good people as well, just because you are not on the same level. You are not even, like, you could not possibly get attracted to each other in any way, shape, or form, because you are in completely different universes, basically, in completely different worlds. You're not even seeing each other, right? And it can be really frustrating, and you can also feel like those people repel you because they are acting in ways that triggers you, that it triggers your insecurities and triggers something that needs to be healed. So that is exceptionally unhelpful. So anyways, this is what happens when you hate yourself. Now let's talk about the little ways in which your self-hatreds might show up. And you might think that these things can be like casual and not significant, but all of these things are indicative of self-hatred, and they are important to acknowledge and to pay attention to. These are bad habits and bad things to get rid of, mind you. Okay, so first and foremost, of course, it's going to be self-deprecating humor and self-deprecating self-talk. This is not cute anymore. I feel like this was a really, really big trend and it was kind of cute maybe 10, 15-ish years ago. It's really not cute anymore. This is very, very old news. This is something to get rid of. It's a bad habit. It's extremely, extremely unattractive. I personally find it extremely attractive when people talk themselves up, when they are admitting about how beautiful they are and how hot they are and how successful and smart they are. That is attractive behavior, depending on how you frame it, of course, depending on the situation. But I would rather be around someone narcissistic who is really talking about their own achievements rather than someone who is talking themselves down, because the same people who do that kind of thing will do the same thing to other people, to do the same thing to their friends and to other people around them. So that can be very infectious, and that is very, very not just unattractive, but also just like pathetic, to be honest, at this point. Self-deprecating humor is not cute anymore. Get rid of that. Stop talking about yourself like that. That is not funny. That's bad, okay? Another thing is keeping your limiting beliefs. If you have seen any videos from this channel, I talk a lot about limiting beliefs. I talk a lot about shame. I talk a lot about self-improvement and stuff like that, and different things, practical things about nervous system, shadow work, stuff like that. All kinds of things that are very, very helpful, okay? If you are aware of your limiting beliefs and you're not doing anything about them, you are consistently not doing anything about them, you are choosing the situation in which you are. You are choosing to keep those limiting beliefs and to act accordingly. All right? You have got to make unconscious conscious. And once you have made it conscious, you cannot unmake it. If you have seen something, you cannot unsee it. So now it is your responsibility to do something about it. And you have to do that, though. Like, it is kind of self-hateful to keep your limiting beliefs and not do anything about them. That's not going to improve anything. You being aware of that is a great thing, but you have to start changing your ways. You have to start, getting different habits and start doing something about this. So do something about this, please. That's also not cute, okay? Another really big thing is holding on to your shame. Again, this is not necessarily always indicative of self-hatred, but if you are aware of your shame, I feel like it is your duty and responsibility to work on that. You do not have to hold on to your shame. You don't have to keep it. You don't have to honor it. You don't have to keep holding on to it. Okay? You do not have to have it and live with it and carrying it through your life and have it inform the decisions that you make in your life, okay? And the choices that you make as well. This is ridiculous. I will attach really helpful videos in the description box down below. I made them earlier and they're fantastic. I talked about shame before. I will keep talking about this. It's extremely, extremely important to work on your shame, okay? To let go of it, to forgive yourself, to free yourself from the shackles, okay? Especially, like I said before, if you are aware of it. It's a different thing when you're not aware of it, right? But I talk about this a lot. Watch my other videos. It's going to be really helpful. Once you become aware of your shame, you have got to do something about it. It's going to free you and help you like crazy. It's struggle suggest. Okay, and another thing is keeping people, friends, relatives around you that hate you. Also, that's crazy, to be honest with you. Especially, like I said before in some of my previous videos, is when you keep friends that hate you. That is crazy. Like, that is the group of people that you get to completely choose by yourself. You don't have to keep any of those people. When it comes to your personal relationships, same thing with your boyfriends, your girlfriends, your husbands and your wives. That is crazy if you choose to be with somebody who hates you. That is crazy. That is crazy. Honestly, same thing goes to your relatives. I have never been the person who believes that you have got to keep talking to your family regardless of how they treat you. I don't believe in that, absolutely. This is the most ridiculous idea in the world. Sometimes your family members are your worst enemies and like your biggest haters, truly. And not necessarily your parents, but maybe your bigger family. It's crazy how much damage people around you can do by keeping you close to them and by you staying close to them and in listening to what they're saying. And you are being infected with that poison even more when people around you don't support you, don't encourage you, hate you, treat you poorly. It is, if you are an adult, I am allowing you to cut those people off. You're not obliged to be friends with everybody. You're not obliged to keep contact with everybody. You don't have to be in contact, in touch with everybody you have been in touch with your whole life. You don't have to do that. You can find a new circle. You can be by yourself. It's okay to heal, and it's okay to be with people who support you. It's so incredibly difficult to improve yourself, to feel happy, to feel successful, to feel good about yourself and about your life if you're surrounded by people who hate themselves. And hate you, of course, because if people hate you, that means they hate themselves a lot of the times. Because if they hate you and they don't hate themselves, why are they sticking around? There is no reason to do that. Exactly. Now listen, breaking old patterns is a choice, okay? Making new decisions, making new habits, starting new routines is a choice. A lot of the times it can be a difficult choice, but you have the power to do that, right? And I truly believe that once you have the knowledge, once you have the tools, you have got to use them, right? You have got to give it to yourself, right? Because I can just give you my word. If you don't believe me, if you haven't experienced it yourself, life does get better. It can be so much better. It can be improved dramatically once you start changing how you view yourself, your place in the world, and the world altogether. Okay? Once you understand that life is not fair, nothing is fair. People are people and they will keep being exactly who they are, right? Nobody is obliged to change. Nobody's obliged to be understanding towards you. People are very different, but you have a choice. You're not a tree. You can move. You can change your circle. You can make little decisions. It's all about making small decisions, small habits, the little things that will improve your life just a little bit. Once you become conscious that you are practicing the same old limiting beliefs, that you keep thinking the same negative thoughts about yourself, you have got to stop them. Once you clock that you have a bad thought about yourself, like a negative thought, self-critical thought, you have got to stop yourself right there, and you have got to change the narrative. You can do that quite literally exactly like that. Once you clock the thought, you stop it right there, and you say to yourself, we will not be doing this anymore. I'm not doing this anymore. You can start say positive affirmations. I don't care how cringe people think they are. They work, and they can be incredibly helpful. I'm not saying that you can heal yourself completely with affirmations alone, because maybe you can, you probably cannot. It's a combination of things that you have got to change, you have got to look at and focus on and, implement into your life in order to see real improvement and real change, right? Like, you have got to start rewiring your brain towards being loving towards yourself and being respectful towards yourself. Now, let's talk about quickly before I finish, about little things that you can do in order to start changing the old ways, right? And you know exactly what I'm going to start with if you watch my previous videos, because I'm going to start with journaling. Of course, I will never not talk about journaling, because it's one of the best self-therapy tools out there, and it's free 99. I mean, listen, you can buy a notebook, you can buy a pen. That is going to cost you some money, but that is it. That is quite literally it. Incredibly helpful. I suggest that you ask yourself questions. You write about how you feel, about what's going on in your mind, how your day was. You can dig deeper, ask more questions, and like try to understand why you feel a certain type of way, or like what it is that you actually need at the moment. And when it comes to asking yourself these questions, while you're at it, might as well do shadow work, because that is kind of the beginning of shadow work in itself. When you start to dig deeper and ask yourself questions and understand the root of the problem, the root of a certain feeling, not try to mask it, not try to pretend like it doesn't exist. If you feel an uncomfortable feeling, it's okay to lean into it and try to, see the root of the issue and what it is that is actually concerning you, all right? Now, it's a good idea to spend some time in solitude, especially if you are the person who's recovering from being around a lot of people who hate themselves and who hate you as well, and people who are extremely toxic, so to say. It is a really, really healthy thing to, instead of completely and drastically changing your circles altogether, because that's going to be difficult to do, you don't have to immediately look for different people to surround yourself with. Spend some time in solitude. Learn about yourself. Learn who you are. Understand yourself. Give yourself some peace of mind. You can meditate, you can just sit with yourself, but there's a lot of things and a lot of clarity that will come to you once you stop wanting to always fill your time with other people. A lot of clarity comes, a lot of energy comes, okay? And a lot of peace comes as well. Another thing, obviously, start integrating small positive habits. Make sure you sleep well, make sure you feed yourself well, make sure you're staying hydrated, make sure you move your body and that you are de-stressing, okay? These are very, very basic things. And like, if I could start every single video with reminding you about this, I would. I'm not gonna do that. That's a bit ridiculous. But every once in a while, I'm gonna do that because that's just the foundation. That's the most basic thing. And the people who say that, well, everybody knows that, I'm not gonna talk about it. I will talk about it because you do know it, but do you do it? I'm going to remind you to do that. Pay attention to that because that is going to significantly impact on how you feel mentally as well, okay? This is significantly impactful for your physical health and also for your mental health, all right? It's really difficult to be self-loving and understanding when you are malnourished, when you don't sleep enough, when you don't take care of yourself on a physical level, so please fix that. And finally, start putting yourself first. Honestly. Like, actually, start putting yourself first. Not in a way that if somebody urgently needs help, you choose yourself if you just don't feel like helping them. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about actively choosing yourself and treating yourself like you are important. All right? Very few things are an emergency. So please be mindful of that, okay? You have to be that person who is there for you all the time. So attend to your feelings, attend to your emotions, attend to your basic needs, and make sure that you are happy. Actually, that is actually incredibly important to do. And especially in the beginning when you're starting this journey, it can be really, really difficult to change your old ways and start thinking differently. But you have to start making small positive changes because that is going to have a really, really good effect moving forward. So anyways, thank you so very much, you guys, for watching this video. I really hope you found it helpful. Please like and subscribe to my channel for more helpful, positive videos. Please leave me a comment. Let's talk about this. Please share your thoughts in the comments down below and check out the videos that I'll link for you in the description box as well. They're really helpful as well. And subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next one.